Hello friends, welcome. Friends, today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is the broadcasting sector. Now friends, I haven't recorded any video on this topic, and I am doing so because of the following reason. On 8th of July 2024, TRAI came out with their new tariff amendments and on the broadcasting and cable services. And this was recently released, and I thought that because this is a matter which is very complex, to explain this matter in very simple terms. Now, before I get into this discussion, and I'll take you through the press release and the details of the tariff order and how it impacts you as an individual or all of us as a society, let's first discuss the high level issues of the broadcasting sector. Now, I have captured the issues of the broadcasting sector in this slide, so you will be able to understand what is going on. Now, broadcasting sector has got various businesses which are running under different types of models, regulatory models, or have different types of regulatory interventions. So what I have done is that I have listed down the key regulatory issues which are being faced by different sectors which are offering broadcasting services. For example, there is this particular portion of the chart, this is point number 1, I can say, which is revenue share, which is running on revenue share model, and there are 3 different platforms. One is DTH, another is MSO, another is IPTV. Now, all these 3 platforms has got different revenue share model. For example, if you are offering broadcast services using DTH, you have to pay a license fee of 8%. Means whatever is your revenue, 8% will go to MIB as license fee. If you are offering IPTV services, same kind of model is applicable. Now, this 8% can be between 8 to 10, but I think it is around about 8 because I have not gone to the latest release. I remember that it has been brought at par with the telecom license. Now, there is one more model here, which is basically cable industries, which is highly disorganized. Now, it has been made a little bit of organized using the MSO model, which acts as an aggregator, which kind of negotiates the rates with the broadcaster and then pushes them to the various cable operators where there is no license fee. Right. So this is the next model within this revenue share model. Right. So this is the model. Now here what has happened is that because there is license fee in this particular model and the other model which I'm going to discuss right now, there is no license fee. So there is an impact to those players who are offering broadcast content under these platforms because they have to pay license fee, not MSO but the DTH and IPTV, right? But the non-revenue share model is free dish and the OTT-based linear TV. Now, free dish is a Doordarshan-based broadcasting services where if a user wants to watch television channels, he doesn't have to pay any fees. No subscription charges are applicable. Only thing that he has to do or he or she has to do is to buy a set-top box. And that set-top box will be a one-time investment of, let's say, around 1500 rupees. And he or she will be able to watch all the channels which Doordarshan is offering. Now, getting access to that particular medium, the broadcaster has to participate in an auction model. So you have to participate in an auction, then only you will be able to get access. And after getting access, then you can offer those channels free. You have to offer those channels free because you can't charge any subscription. Now, the problem with the free dish model is that this is a non-addressable system. So there are 2 types of system, right? One is addressable system, another is non-addressable system. Now, what is the difference between addressable and non-addressable? Addressable means that when a transmission happens, any transmission that happens from any medium, whether it is DTH or it is IPTV or internet or whatever, the content has to be encrypted. It can't be left unencrypted. And the receiver will have a mechanism to decrypt the content. So that is an addressable system. And the advantage of having an addressable system is that the whole transmission that happens right through the medium is secure and cannot be stolen, and the IP is protected, and you can also verify the customer. Means you know exactly who is watching what content. So it kind of becomes very useful for the overall industry. So what TRAI has done is, TRAI is only regulating tariffs of addressable system, and it is not regulating tariff of non-addressable system, under which this free dish falls. Free dish is a non-addressable system. So this is an overview which you have to understand before I take you through the TRAI's recommendation. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand. The other is a completely different system called OTT-based linear TV. Now, what is this OTT-based linear TV? Now, you might have seen a lot of packages being offered by the internet companies, even the mobile operators. They are offering air fiber, they are offering broadband, and what they are doing is they are basically packaging various kinds of linear TV channels, OTT channels, recorded channels, all bundled together with their subscription. So that is the OTT-based linear TV services. Now this OTT-based linear TV services doesn't have a revenue share model. It is not licensed by anybody. It also not basically somehow comes under the broadcasting regulation also. Means there is a downlinking guidelines, and I don't want to confuse with too much regulatory terminology. Otherwise this video will lose interest. People will lose interest. So it does not fall under the framework of any regulation, and it is purely unregulated. And whatever you watch on your mobile phone, laptop, or even on your TV, when you do some kind of streaming on your TV using an internet-based linear TV model, that is totally unregulated, and it is not regulated by TRAI. Neither tariff is regulated by TRAI or any kind of license fee is applicable. So between these two models, right, revenue share model and non-revenue share model, the main difference is that there is a license fee with DTH and IPTV, 8%, and there is a tariff which is regulated by TRAI. And I'll tell you the reason why tariff is regulated later part of this video. So you see that different tariff models for different types of structure, right? One is the TRAI regulated, which is DTH, MSO, and IPTV. And I'll tell you what kind of tariff model is there. And then we have the free to dish, free to air kind of DTH, this is not dish TV. This is basically free to air Doordarshan. Right? I'm sorry, it is not dish TV. I think I should change this now. This is free to air by Doordarshan. And then the unregulated OTT-based linear TV, which I have already explained. Now let's go. After having got this overview, now let's go to the TRAI's tariff order. Now you will be able to understand what is going on. Now, if you go into this tariff order, you will find that most important part of the tariff order, because there is a portion which talks about the programming guide, etc. Those I don't want to discuss because those are not very important. The most important part of the tariff order is the discount, and let's look at the discount. Now is the time to explain to you what this tariff order is all about and why even TRAI got into implementing a tariff order for this part of the distribution business. Why they did so and why they have not done so for this part of the distribution system, we will also discuss. So first let's discuss what is the rationale for bringing a tariff order. Now the main rationale for bringing a tariff order was that the discount. Now let's look at this discount. What TRAI has done, TRAI is now permitting a discount up to 45%, right, which was earlier permitted up to 15%. Now what is this discount? Now there are bouquets which you might have already seen that experience that your providers are providing to you, and you can choose any of the bouquets. Now what used to happen before the tariff order came into picture, the broadcasters used to create their own bouquet arbitrarily and bundled with very non-useful channels. For example, in a bouquet, let's say there are 100 channels, right? And 100 channels, out of those 100 channels, a viewer may be interested in only, let's say, 5. And he or she is not interested in the rest of the 95, because those 95 channels are not very popular and nobody watches those channels. Now, in order to push this 95 channels, what the broadcaster used to do, or the DPOs used to do, the distribution platform, they used to basically bundle all of them in a package. And then whatever was the MRP price for those channels, right, which they wanted to fix, because those channels were also to be sold, some could have been sold as an individual channel, though there was no offer at that time as individual channels, which I am going to come back later. So those individual channels, if they had a price, then what would have happened if you add all the 100 channels price together, and let's say if that price comes out to be around 200 rupees for 100 channels, they would sell that bouquet at a discount of 50% or 60%. So it will be sold at 100 rupees. So you understand what I'm talking about. In the manner, what would have happened? What would happen is that the non-useful channels will get pushed by those broadcasters and the DPOs, bundled with useful channels. So that is why the TRAI said that the discount was only permitted up to 15% of the MRP price of the channel. For example, if there are 100 channels and if you add the MRP of all those channels and if you come out with a number, let's say 250, that 250 rupees can be discounted only by 15%. And you can't do the many more discounting. In the process, what TRAI wanted to do, they wanted to unbundle those channels so that those channels can be offered individually to increase flexibility to the consumers. That was the whole idea. And now what they've done, they're saying, no, you can now offer a discount of 45%. Now, what was the problem? The problem was that this discount of up to 15% became a bone of contention. There were twin clauses, etc. I don't want to get into that because that will confuse the video. So it became a bone of contention, and it was challenged in the court of law, and somehow TRAI was not able to implement this fully, and the benefits that TRAI thought it will be realized by the industry and the consumer was not that much. There was virtually no benefit because the price of the consumer actually increased after this model was implemented, where discounts were prohibited to be beyond 15%, right? So that was the basic problem. Now TRAI is saying that 45% is permissible. So I think you probably understood. The second problem which TRAI is now solving through this particular consultation and their tariff order is the whole point about this free to air, the Doordarshan's free dish, right? So this is free to air, free dish, which is an auction-based model where there is no subscription applicable. Now, there is a complaint by the broadcasters, including DPO. What they're saying is, not broadcasters, actually the DPOs, they're saying that the broadcasters in the package, which is regulated by TRAI, because this is not regulated by TRAI, right? They are offering certain channels at a price. Right? For example, channel number 1 is, let's say, price is 5 rupees. I'm just giving an example. But here, the same channel is offered through DD free dish, free of cost, right? And therefore, they are saying that there are two different type of treatment which the broadcasters are getting in these two different media, and therefore, this is unfairly impacting this particular portion of the business, which is not only getting impacted by high revenue share, which the government of India is charging, which MIB is charging, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Also, this unregulated media is able to push certain channels as free, which is being priced in this bucket. That's the whole point. So what TRAI is now saying in this, that pay channels available at no subscription. If you see pay channels available at no subscription fee on the DTH platform for public service broadcaster, which is DD, has to be declared free to air by the broadcaster of the channel for all of the addressable distribution platform, so as to have a level playing condition. Now you understand there are two types of platform, as I explained to you. One is addressable, which is DTH, MSO and IPTV, and there is non-addressable, which is the DD free dish. So they are saying that in the DD free dish, if you are giving certain channels free to air, you have to give the same thing to the addressable free to air. So I think you probably understood. So this is a very important point, by the way, right? Rest I'll just skip some of the things which I find is not going to be very useful. Now, what TRAI is saying, which is very important to understand here, they are saying that this non-addressable system, which is the DD free dish platform, is creating a lot of confusion. Why? What is the problem with this DD free dish platform? The DD free dish platform is not monitorable. Means you cannot know how many customers are there because it is non-addressable, and the information or the signals which are flowing into that set-top box, which a consumer can buy, and therefore thereafter he can get every channel free without any subscription. That set-top box is a box which do not have any encryption capability, right, or decryption capability. So the signals are coming and they are non-encrypted, can be received by anybody, and therefore there is a possibility that the same signals which are coming from the sky can be rebundled in a different platform and be transmitted over a system or a broadcasting system, and somebody may be charging that those channels which are being offered by DD free air. Now you understand, DD free to air is available throughout the country. Now somebody sitting in some remote corner saying that, okay, I am going to aggregate those signals which are coming from DD free dish, aggregate it and then retransmit using, let's say, cable or anything, and then sell it to the consumers there, right, and charge a subscription, which is not meant, these signals are not meant to be for a subscription. So there could be some models which are basically happening on ground, which is leading to this kind of distortions. So they want, now Prasar Bharati is saying that, TRAI is saying that Prasar Bharati to take steps to convert DD free dish platform from non-addressable system to an addressable system and make beginning by encrypting the signals of private satellite television channels at DD free dish head end before uplinking. You see, this is what they are saying. Now you probably have understood what is the issue here, right? Now they are also saying that this is indigenous, so leave this. And they are also talking about interoperability of set-top boxes. Now, this interoperability of set-top boxes is a issue which TRAI has been discussing for a long period of time. For example, let's say if I have a set-top box of Tata Sky, and if I want to go to Airtel Extreme, I don't have to basically change the set-top box. But it is too much of an asking, right? This is more of a theoretical recommendation, very difficult to implement, let me tell you this, right? So because they're saying MIB may direct the private DPOs to implement interoperability. How can you do that when the market is seeded with so many set-top boxes? You can bring in interoperability as a new regulatory diktat, right now, but that is going to become a cost to the industry, because what will happen is that those players who are holding their customers because of the set-top boxes, if the set-top boxes become interoperable, then there will be no stickiness. So there is no motivation for the broadcaster to have a interoperable set-top box, because that the set-top box becomes a barrier for the consumer to switch to a different broadcasting medium. For example, if I have a Tata Sky set-top box, I have already invested in 3,000 rupees in the antenna and the set-top box, and I want to switch to a different medium, let's say anything, Videocon, anybody, I have to have another set-top box. So that is a kind of a mechanism for the broadcaster and the distributor to hold me into their platform. So it is going to find a very difficult, it is very difficult to implement, because if this gets implemented and with such kind of unlevel playing condition between the revenue share model and the non-revenue share model, especially the OTT-based linear TV running on internet, it is going to kill this industry. This industry is going to disappear, because ultimately the OTT-based linear TV is available free anyway, right? Which is available unregulated, where there is no regulation applicable as far as TRAI is concerned, or even the MIB is concerned. So they are not regulating linear TV over internet or any kind of medium which is being transmitted, other than these two mediums, right? So this is a problem. So therefore, this is going to be very difficult for them to implement. Now, if I go forward in my presentation, you will see, so this is the end of the story here, right? So this is exactly what these people are saying. And if you go in the detailed, consultation on the recommendation, you will find that in this recommendation, there are certain things which they have mentioned, which is the point to be noted here. One is that they are saying that the impact on the free dish subscription to convert so there is an issue here. Let me just talk about it. See, the free dish is a bone of contention by the broadcasters for the distributors, because they believe that this is basically creating a problem and having a parallel path of distribution which is completely unregulated, where TRAI doesn't play a role. Now, if you have to convert that non-addressable system into a addressable system, imagine the kind of impact that it is going to have on the consumers, because consumer is already holding a set-top box, and that set-top box needs to be replaced. Now, if there are 45 million viewers watching Free Dish, which you don't know, DD Free Dish, which you don't know, changing this 45 million users to a encrypted set-top box when there is already a huge transition happening from DTH, because DTH industry is shrinking, right? Everybody is migrating to OTT, linear TV, etc., and the industry is actually getting really screwed up. The DTH and the MSO and the cable industry is already shrinking. Now, let's say if I assume that I give a path to move towards Free Dish of 5 years, still there is no guarantee that these users, these 45 million viewers, will finally make a switch towards a new set-top box which will be unencrypted when they are receiving these signals on their mobile phones anyway. So they can basically receive so they can have one device, and the 5G penetration in the country is increasing, and all kinds of signals are available, all kinds of TV signals, TV channels are available on their mobile. Why would they even need a DD Free Dish? This was important at the time when the data connectivity of the country was not good, the form factor was not good, right? Now, with the increase of form factor, mobiles becoming cheaper, 5G penetration increasing, and everybody is basically pushing their channel over the internet, what will be even the need for this kind of system, right? With so much amount of burden on the consumer to change their set-top boxes, when already the DTH industry is collapsing, right? So this is a problem. So I don't think that it is going to be so easy for them to implement, right? And then, so I think there is not much to talk about in this consultation paper. One thing which I like to basically talk here, which is important, that TRAI has not focused on addressing the issue about linear TV over internet. Because if you look at the current system and the current packages which are being offered by let's say I'll just go and talk about this. If you see here, there is a JioFiber. The JioFiber is already offering, in their plans, all kinds of linear TV channels. You see, there are 800 plus digital channels are already being offered over their JioFiber and the broadband connection. Similarly, Airtel also has got all kinds of channels being offered by the digital medium, right? On the TV directly. So when you have all these things running in parallel, where there is no license fee applicable, there is no regulation applicable, the TRAI's EPG guide or anything which is not applicable, then you tell me, what is the point about even talking about this regulation? You see, this is the Airtel's plans, where all kinds of channels are available and there is data speeds are available, and these are, you cannot say that these are not par with DTH. The reason these are par with DTH is because these are high speed channels. The broadband is high speed, and today the 5G air fiber broadband has a quality also attached to it, because you can actually do network slicing on the 5G based FWAs, where these kinds of channels are being offered, and prioritize these channels over conventional best effort internet. So you can actually match the same quality that you are able to get using your conventional DTH service. Maybe better, right? So when you have all these systems in place, where so much amount of internet and your TV is all bundled together, and you don't have to pay so much more money, because these are being charged with 699 and 799, etc. But in the mobile also they are available at a much affordable rate. So now why would anybody even focus on going towards a DTH based platform, where TV itself has become a smart TV? You don't require any set-top boxes. You can just simply plug in your internet in the smart TV and you will get all these kind of signals. And then there is one more thing that you can do. if you have a tablet or a mobile phone, you can do a AirPlay, and you can basically using Chrome or Apple TV or anything, or maybe without even Apple TV or Chrome, you can basically directly transmit your screen, the mobile screen, directly on your TV, and get the same kind of experience that you get normally using a DTH without having a DTH connection, because you can directly mirror your iPad or your iPhone or your phone directly over the screen and get a large viewing experience. So I think, friends, I think you probably understood what kind of challenges that we are facing. This unequal regulation that the industry has for a long period of time has not only subdued the conventional business path like DTH, etc. It has steered the content towards internet-based carriage, and it is continuously going to happen. And therefore, this regulation which is happening in this tariff order which TRAI has been implementing for such a long period of time, and we have been having this discourse with so much amount of litigation running all over the place, this will become irrelevant after some time, because everything is going to move towards digital, will get digitized. And now we have to look at the broadcast bill to see that whether they are going to bring in some regulation on linear TV and OTT which are being offered using internet, which is currently not covered or not managed by the broadcast regulation and the downlinking guidelines, right? So this is what we have to see and watch, and what kind of impact this is going to cause to the industry, we have to see. But I hope that the government will be conscious about the fact that if they do too much hard regulation, then they will have a negative impact on internet spread, broadcast technologies, and all kind of technologies which are, for example, 5G hasn't been monetized. People are finding it very hard to monetize 5G. So only respite for monetizing 5G is content. And if you are going to regulate content and make those delivery of content difficult, then you will kill the potential spread of broadband connectivity and usage in the market, because the market, the industry relies on usage, the data usage, and only way to increase data usage is basically by driving useful content and watching useful content. I think, friends, you probably have understood what I wanted to say. And I think on a high level, I have written a lot of articles on this which I wanted to show you, and I'm going to paste these articles in the description. And if you are interested, you can go through this article, because this basically captures some crucial issues. I wanted to write an article on this topic right now also after this TRAI tariff regulation has come up, but I thought that I will use this medium, the YouTube medium, to explain some of this concept in as simple terms as possible, and maybe I'll write a detailed substract note later. Okay. Thank you, friends, for your time. I'll come back to you with a new video later. Thank you very much.